Hello, everyone. This is Brian May with Arcoro. Thank you very much for joining our webinar today, a payroll service just for construction. You'll get to learn more about the Payroll for Construction Foundation software team here momentarily. As you know, we're getting a little late start, so we're going to allow some folks to have some time to get in, get settled. I'll come right back to you here in another 60 seconds or so, and we'll jump in. Thank you for your patience. Stand by. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. We're going to give everyone a couple more seconds here to get settled. Thank you very much for your patience. We'll get started in just one more minute. Okay, well, welcome to the call and thank you for spending your lunch hour with us. This is Brian May from Arcoro, and I just wanted to welcome our Arcoro and ExactTime customers to this exclusive webinar with our partners over at Foundation Software and Payroll for Construction. Now, everyone has been placed on mute for the duration of the call, but please, we want you to interact with the presenters today. And you can go ahead and put your questions into the question section of the webinar, and we'll answer those towards the end of today's call. After the webinar, we'll be sure to send around a recording just in case you want to share this with any colleagues within the organization. And again, thank you very much for joining today. Next slide. So Arcoro and Foundation, we add up to a very strong value proposition for our joint customers. You know, together, we're bringing together financials, payroll, and the HR function to solve key business challenges, providing higher visibility into projects, people, and productivity. Our ExactTime by Arcoro solution can be integrated nicely with Foundation software to help with payroll and job costing. Next slide, please. The configuration options for this integration include, pulling people, projects, and cost codes from Foundation or Payroll for Construction into the ExactTime module using our sync links. Now, from there, time's tracked in ExactTime, and you've got an easy export of time that goes right back to Payroll for Construction, the Foundation Payroll module, once all time cards are approved. There are a couple of key advantages to this connector: real-time tracking to reduce errors, time theft, increase accuracy, better accounting of time for labor and job costing, and fewer errors for payroll. But in the end, this integration between ExactTime and Foundation is just going to save you steps and avoid from you having to do too much data entry to get payroll run. Next slide, please. The second integration that we're going to talk about today, or that you should be aware of, is between the Arcoro onboarding module, the new hire onboarding module, and the Foundation and Payroll for Construction systems. Here, the Arcoro HR customers using the onboarding system can output a flat file that's mapped to be consumed by the Foundation import utility. So, the key demographics, position info, I can't speak this morning, position info, tax info, direct deposit, up to 3, all output so that you can easily consume that right within the Foundation payroll module using that import utility. We'll dig deeper into this as we get started here. Next slide, please. But without further ado, I want to take a minute to introduce Alex Gray. Alex has been with Foundation for 3 years. As a regional sales manager, Alex specializes in serving commercial, union, and prevailing wage contractors. Alex works closely with companies that employ hundreds of contractors. They've got satellite offices that have satellite offices and work in multiple states. Now, his main focus is ensuring that companies that use payroll for construction are running their complex payroll smoothly, efficiently, and on time. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and turn things over to Alex. And Alex, what do you got in store for us today?
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for that introduction, and I want to thank everyone as well for taking the time during their lunch hour to join us here today. And today we got a nice high-level overview of payroll for construction. I will also show how the exact time integration, where those that are recording time on that exact time mobile product can easily pull that time into payroll for construction, and our team is going to be able to handle the rest once with the processing of that payroll. But what I'll do here, I'll go ahead and jump into the next slide, and we'll get things going here. So meet Payroll for Construction. Payroll for Construction is an online payroll service provider just for the construction industry. So we're only working with construction clients. Inside of our system, you're going to see construction-related items such as the certified payroll reports, the ability to pay above scale for prevailing wage. We're only working with construction. We know how complicated construction payroll can be. So our system's designed specifically for those in the construction industry. Payroll for Construction has the ability to process payroll in all 50 states. We currently do have clients that are working in all 50 states. Those that are also working in multiple states, those clients that, you're based in Pennsylvania, but you're working in some of the East Coast states like Maryland, Jersey, those are working in multiple states in any part of the country, going to be able to handle the payroll processing with us having the ability to process payroll for all 50 states. What makes Payroll for Construction different from other payroll providers out there is we're powered by Foundation software, and we have over 35 years of experience in construction. Foundation software provides a full accounting system, ERP accounting job cost software, where Payroll for Construction can be built directly into that full accounting software, or can stand alone and integrate with other accounting products out there, such as QuickBooks, Sage 300, Timberline. You don't need to be on Foundation's accounting system to use our payroll service. Our system is, though, powered by that powerful job cost accounting software. So that's what's going to stand us different from the other providers that are out there. Payroll for Construction is going to be like your normal payroll service provider. We're going to be able to pay your employees via check or direct deposit. We're also going to be able to handle the tax filings and payments. We can handle the weekly, the monthly, the quarterlies, the annuals for any federal, state, city taxes, FUTA, SUTA. And also handle the distribution of those W-2s at year end. What we are also able to do is we're going to automate reports like job costing, certified payroll, EEO, minority compliance, because we know once those employees get paid, there's more to construction payroll when it comes to the reporting requirements that come with being in the construction industry. Our system's going to help create that time saving and automate these reports that come with the messy construction payroll. So what we actually do here at Payroll for Construction, like I mentioned, we're going to have construction-specific payroll items. So back to the multi-state, those that are working in multi-localities, contractors that are working in one state, or you're working in multiple states, going to be able to handle the payroll paying of the employees that are working in one state, working in multiple states, and also handling the tax filings and payments for those that are working across multiple tax requirements across different states. The same with those that are working in multi-localities. For those that are working in states like Ohio, like Pennsylvania, where they're going to have specific cities that have different tax requirements, we're going to be able to set up, track all of that information as we're running the payroll through the system. And then when it comes time to actually make the tax filings and payments, our team is going to be able to handle those. And again, if you're working in one state, you're working in multiple states, you got city tax requirements that we need to keep track of and also pay. Our team in the system is going to be able to handle those. Third bullet point here, we're going to be able to automate pay rates for things like prevailing wage. So for my contractors that have commercial jobs, we're going to be paying those employees a set dollar amount that was defined with that employee. But when it comes time that we have that prevailing wage work, we need to pay these guys above scale. Going to be able to set up pay rates based on jobs. So going to be able to control what guys are getting paid, what they're actually working and doing on this job. So we can have these pay rates broken out by different trades, can control what rates are tied to what jobs. And again, it's all going to be done behind the scenes. So as we're coding that hours, those time into the database, pulling that over from exact time, the system is going to be able to assign the correct rate of pay automatically to that guy based on what job he was working on, what trade, and we can have multiple pay rates in the same day, on one time card in a week, day, any point in time, as many pay rates as we need for those that are working those prevailing wage jobs. Going to be able to also automate the fringe calculations. Those that have the fringes that we're paying to the employees can have a separate table where we can set up how we want that fringe to be paid. Is this going to the employee's paycheck? Are we working with some sort of fringe benefit group that the fringes are going off to? Going to be able to automate all of this information behind the scenes. And as we code payroll, code time for the system, bring that over from exact time, this information is going to be automatically tracked by the system behind the scenes. It's like the last bullet point here, the prevailing wage fringe reduction factor. So those contractors that are, again, have that prevailing wage work, and per that prevailing wage job, you're gonna have to pay these guys a set of fringes. But that contractor may be already paying their employees things like PTO, vacation, sick pay. They're already providing these fringes. Inside the system, we can reduce those fringes down to what we need for that prevailing wage job. So we're not overpaying, we're not double paying that fringe that we're already providing to this employee. Going to be able to help save money when it comes to those fringes when we're working that prevailing wage jobs. So the system can automate this for us and also save us some money when it comes to those fringes. Last bullet point here, workers' compensation. We know how messy that workers' compensation policy can become with construction payroll. We're going to be able to set up that workers' compensation policy, anything that's going on inside that for that policy inside the database. This can be set up by type of work performed, different classes. We're able to set up how we need this to calculate, what rate it needs to be calculated at, and can tie specific policies to those jobs. So again, as we're coding time from exact time into payroll for construction, processing that payroll, going to be able to automatically track that policy, have a nice report for us that we can run at any point in time to see where we stand against that workers' comp policy. Next slide here. Again, staying on what we do, the construction specific reporting. So we know with, hey, half the battle is getting the employees paid and handling the taxes, but we have that back end where we need that construction specific reporting. So those that need things like certified payroll, we're going to have electronic uploads and over 40 different print options for those that basically need that certified payroll reporting. We have more than just the generic WH347 certified print. We have certain specific cities, we have specific states. We also have the ability to upload online to those that are uploading to things like the LCP tracker, EMARS, the California DIR. All those certified payroll reports will automatically be generated inside the database for you. So there's no jumping into an external portal, trying to run these certified reports. Once you run that payroll, go in, plug the date range, select your format, your certified report is prepared for you, and this is all done inside one database. Also going to be able to handle things like the minority compliance, EEO reporting. Again, we're going to have more than one, the generic EEO minority compliance format. And again, all this information is going to be automatically calculated on the reports for you, and simply running that report for the date range, PDF, pulling that out of the system, your reports are good to go for you, saving you time where we're not manually creating these EEO reports, those certified payroll reports, all going to be done for us by the system. Third bullet point here, job labor and burden cost. We know with construction payroll, we say that we're paying these employees $15 an hour, but once we pull in all the burden, FICA, FUTA, SUTA, fringes, these guys are going to more so cost us $20 an hour, $22 an hour. We're going to have reports that are going to take all of those burdens, what's going on payroll-wise, and giving us our payroll job costs, where when it comes time that we want to see where we stand with these guys against the jobs, simply run the job, labor, and burden cost report, going to have your true cost for each employee down to the penny with anything that's going on payroll job cost-wise generated inside that report. And then like I had mentioned earlier, workers' compensation, gonna have a nice report that's generated for you once that policy is set up inside the system. Then those that are also working with things like 401k, health insurance provider, gonna be able to automatically track those deductions on the employee records. Then as we're running payroll through the system, gonna have those reports that'll generate for you, see where you stand with that 401k provider in the totals. Then also things like union reports. So those contractors that have union work, going to be able to track those union deductions and fringes, what's being required by the union for these employees. Then after payroll's been processed, again, go in, whether we're running this report at the end of a week, the end of a month, when we need to run that union report, go ahead and run it. Give us a nice bottom line of where we stand with those deductions and fringes, what we had set up again behind the scenes, the system's automatically tracking for us. Then also, if we have any that have things like child support, tax, alimony, we're going to be able to track all those requirements as well and have nice reports that'll be automatically generated where you stand against those garnishments. Next slide here. Then the third slide, still going to be able to handle those traditional payroll service items. So the paying of the employees by check or direct deposit. We're also then going to be able to handle the tax filings and payments, that being the weekly, the monthly, the quarterlies, the annuals. We'll also handle those quarterly and annual returns. And then at year end, when it comes time for the distribution of W-2s, the other year end services that we offer will entirely be handled by our team. So you don't have to worry about closing out payroll at year end. All the year end payroll items will be handled by our team as your provider. So what else makes us different here? We have that direct integration with other accounting programs like QuickBooks, like Sage Timberline that I had mentioned. Even though we're powered by a full job cost ERP accounting software, you don't need to be an accounting client to utilize the powerful payroll module that comes with Payroll4Construction. Even though we're processing your payroll as your provider, we're going to be able to push that payroll data back into your accounting system via our integration, so you can still see your net profit and loss broken out inside the accounting system, because we know how crucial it is to have all of that data in one place so we can see where we stand. So we do have the ability to integrate with QuickBooks and other accounting programs out there. Again, our only focus is construction. Our team is going to stay up to date with the industry standards, what's going on with those certified payroll report formats, what's going on with the tax requirements in each state. Our team is only working with construction clients, and they're focused on making sure that we're staying up to date with anything that's coming with the industry standards for construction payroll. And with Payroll4Construction, those that do move forward with the service, our support team is available to you free of charge, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And they're all trained in our database. They're all our staff in-house. So you're not calling someone that isn't familiar with working with that system. Our team is all developed in-house and trained on our system. Now, the fourth bullet point here is most important for those that are on the ExactTime mobile product. So with you using ExactTime as your mobile provider, we have a time card import feature where if you're not using something like our mobile application, or you're not manually entering the time into the database, we have the ability to import from other providers out there. So I will show this later on in the demonstration here, but simply have your guys record their time, their hours in ExactTime. Our team, with ExactTime being one of our partners, already has the import format set up where it's simply you pull the file out, import it into the system, boom, your hours are recorded, you're able to review, then send off to our team for processing. Again, like I had mentioned earlier, Payroll4Construction is going to have that web-based access anytime from anywhere with an internet connection. I'm able to set up on multiple workstations. If you're taking a laptop on the road, have the ability to, you will still have access to that Payroll4Construction system. And we're also able to set up user by user profiles. So if someone wants to see the system laid out one way, another user has a different flow they want to go through, able to have those specific user profiles. Then the last bullet point here, online stub portal for employees to retrieve their pay stubs electronically. So once the employees are paid, you're tired of tracking them down, handing their pay stub for that direct deposit. We do have an online portal where those can log in, see their previous pay, their current pay, what's going on with those pay stubs, again, online electronically. So what I'll do here, I'm gonna go ahead and X out, and I'm gonna jump into the system here now. Wonderful. So what you are seeing here is the home dashboard of Payroll for Construction. So like I had mentioned earlier, we are powered by Foundation. So those that log in will see the Foundation software logo in the top right, but you're accessing us for payroll. Inside this payroll database, it's going to be simple as setting up those jobs, pulling that time in over from exact time, or having the ability to manually enter into the database, going through reviewing the time, then submitting payroll off to our team for processing. And again, we have that ability to integrate and those reports that come standard inside the system for those that need each individual construction payroll report. But inside the payroll module, this is something that you'll start with a blank database, you'll get assigned a trainer, and our team would work to get that data set up of what's going on with that payroll, with your actual payroll. Like I'd mentioned, going to be able to set up pay rates behind the scenes for those that have the prevailing wage jobs, those that are working with unions or multiple unions, able to have these separate from the employee pay record for those commercial jobs. Then as we tie these tables to the jobs, going to automatically be able to pull in the correct corresponding rate for those employees. And to go with those pay rates for those deductions and fringes, going to have a separate table that we're able to set up and track what's going on with those deductions and fringes, whether it's just a simple prevailing wage cash fringe that's going to the employee or going off to a fringe benefit group, or if you're a union contractor and you have a list of deductions and fringes that we need to record what's going on for these guys, able to set these up behind the scenes. As we pull time from exact time and our team processes that payroll, all this information is automatically calculated for us behind the scenes. All right, so back to main menu here. So again, that behind the scenes, this will be set up with that trainer. So those jobs will be set up. Our employees will be set up, that workers' compensation policy. Then once we're ready to go, it's as simple as pulling time over, submitting that time off for processing. So inside the payroll daily, this would be set up with that trainer. You would have an exact time import format for the time cards to then pull over that time from exact time. Once you access that time card format, you'd simply come up to the top and you'll see a button that says import. Select the import button. What this will then provide for you is the import genie. Like I'd mentioned with that trainer, this sequence is already going to be set up for you. So those that are recording that time in exact time, pulling it into the database, you're simply going to select browse, go to that spot where we're having you save that file from exact time, select that time card file, click next, click finish. The system would let you know if you had any errors on that import. Mine was successful here. Can go ahead and close out. Boom, my time has been brought into the system from that exact time mobile application. What you will notice here is there are a number of items that are blank currently on this enter time card screen. The main one here being this pay rate field. That again is because the system's going to do the legwork for us once we pull over that time for exact time. I have all my hours brought into the database. Now, when I click OK, the system is then going to look at what we had set up behind the scenes and pull in the corresponding pay rate for each of those employees, what they have been doing, whether it's prevailing wage, whether it's commercial, whether it's a union job. All of this is going to be automated for us, so there's no going through each individual guy on that day, what trade they were working on, bringing in that corresponding pay rate. You can see I can have multiple pay rates for multiple employees on one time card and all be paid out again in that week. But once the time looks good to go, click OK to save. Then you're going to have a number of reports available to review that time before our team ever touches it for processing. The first one here is going to be this time card list proofing report. all of our reports inside Payroll for Construction are going to be met with this criteria tab that allows us to control how we want this report to be formatted when it's ran. Users can actually set up their own individual defaults. So if one user wants to see the hours for the week broken out by employee, but if you told me another user wants to see it broken out by job for the week, we can have different users have their own custom formatting report set up and also their own custom flow inside the database. So we can get this custom tailored to how each individual needs to access that data, what's going on inside the system. But my report's formatted here, time to click list, going to then provide me with all the hours that have been entered into the database for the week. So show me what job he was working against, what date, what cost code he was working against. So these regular hours, overtime hours, again, what pay rate, what city were we working in, if we were working in multiple cities or states, what trade, is this a prevailing wage work, is this union work? Going to allow us to review those hours again before our teams ever touched it for processing. Again, I'll also, like I had mentioned, these reports can be ran a number of different ways. So it's someone at the company said, I want to see it broken out by job. Switch that criteria tab, boom, that same report is now formatted to how we need to see this data, and we're not jumping in to an external system, now have to know how to code to run these reports. PDF, Word, Excel, CSV, very easy to pull any report outside of the Payroll for Construction system. Then once the hours look good to go, going to have a number of registers available to review what's going on with that payroll run, again, before we had ever touched it for processing. The main one here going to be the pre-check register, where this will show us all of our employees that are either receiving a check, direct deposit, pull in all of that information that had been set up behind the scenes on an employee record, give us their net pay down to the penny, so we can review, make sure the pay amounts are correct, again, before the team has ever processed that payroll for that week. So, all right, payroll looks good to go. Simply click submit payroll. Going to send that payroll off to our team for processing. Again, pay those employees via check or direct deposit. Then we're going to handle those tax filings and payments for those weeklies, monthlies, quarterlies, annualies. Then once the employees are paid, time for us to start running those construction reports that are going to come set up and automatically calculated inside the database. So inside the payroll report section here, the first one that I'll access is going to be that workers' compensation report. So based on that policy that had been set up behind the scenes, going to give you that full detail of what's going on against that policy. Hey, what class were these employees working under? Give us all the hours, and also be able to show us those caps that we had set up based on that policy that had been set up behind the scenes with that trainer. As you scroll through the report, have everything broken out for you here. Then also provide us with nice subtotals at the bottom of where we stand with that workers' compensation policy. Go ahead and close out here. Then also EEO minority compliance reporting, whether you're uploading electronically online or you just need the simple print format for you. These are going to be automatically generated inside that database, and we're going to see, you'll see that we have multiple formats. So we have more than just the generic, certain states, certain cities, and our team is working to stay updated with these requirements and the standards for these reports inside the database. What I'll do, I'll go ahead and select the U.S. Department of Labor format here. Simply run the report, put in your date range here, click report. Your EEO monthly utilization report has been automatically created for you. All that information pulls in automatically. And again, very easy to pull out, PDF, Word, Excel, pull these reports outside the system to send off where they need to go. Then another big one here that we've been touching on, those certified payroll reports. So for those that have the print options, again, we have over 40 different print options for those certified payroll reports, specific states, specific cities. I'll just scroll through here so those can see the number of print formats that we have available. And again, our team's staying up to date with the reporting standard formats here. And if there's any information that needs to flow onto report, again, it's going to pull from inside the database. No more manually filling out these reports to help save you time in the office when it comes to payroll. But hey, good to go. Select our report format here. Click report. Your certified report has been prepared for you. We'll even calculate the no work performs. Then as I scroll through, pull in all of that certified payroll information that had been going on. Then also at the bottom, we'll include those signature sheets for us to sign, PDF, pull them outside the database, then send off where they need to go. I'll close out here. Then again, like I had mentioned, those that are uploading to things like the California DIR, to the EMARS, or you're using the LCP tracker, the electronic upload, automatically going to create that file format for you inside the database. Select the format you need, select the date range, control where you want to save that file, click report. Your certified payroll report is generated for you. Now this information doesn't look legible. That's because it's creating the file for us. All we simply need to do is click close. I'm going to say create file now. Yes, save that file to your database, access the LCP tracker online, and automatically upload that certified to the LCP tracker. Again, going to have a number of reports available to the clients here that are on Payroll for Construction free of charge. Another big one that I had talked about here is that burden job costing report. So again, we know with construction payroll, there's more involved than saying we're paying them $15 an hour with all the burden include. Going to have nice reports that are automatically generated with all of that burden to give us the average hourly rate for the employees down to the penny, and can control how this report is formatted. If we want to see specific information, control how it pulls in to these reports that we're running. We also have the ability to set up and create custom reports. If we have these default format reports that aren't up to your standards, you need to see it a certain way, or hey, my union needs a report laid out this specific way that we send it off, we do have the ability to set up custom reports. Go ahead and close out here. Then the last one that I'll show here today is for those that are the union contractors, have those union deductions and fringes that we're tracking. Systems automatically done this for us behind the scenes, whether you're running this for the week, for the month, put in your date range, quick report, automatically pulls in all the information for those that have been working under those unions, what trade they were working under, their total earnings, hours worked, and then what their deductions and fringes were. Then as I go to the next page, provide us that nice summary of what went on for those earnings, deductions, and fringes for that union, and give us a nice bottom line, so then we can then cut the check, send that off to the union, and have them paid. Go ahead and close out here. Then I will go ahead and pull up my presentation here again. So how a payroll is processed inside Payroll for Construction. Simply log in online to that database that I had just presented and gone through for there. You're going to enter or import those time cards from the exact time product. Then once that time's brought over, still going to be able to manually make corrections if time was entered in that product incorrectly. Going to review the time card entry and the payroll calculation. Simply click submit. That payroll sent off to us for processing. Our team takes care of the rest. And then our typical client. So if you have one of the items going on at the company that I had mentioned earlier, you're going to be a fit for Payroll for Construction. Those working across multiple states, those working across multiple localities. You're a union contractor. You have prevailing wage work. You're having problems with those tax filings. You need automated construction reporting. Or if you're just looking for more detailed job costing when it comes to payroll, you're going to be a fit for Payroll for Construction. We're built for contractors with specific construction needs, or those that are looking for the more detailed job costing, like the items that I had mentioned, that union, multiple states, multiple localities, prevailing wage jobs, or again, that more detailed job costing. Our system's going to provide you with that value for time saving with efficient payroll processing. We're going to automate those job costing reports, the certified payroll reports, union reports, automatically be able to pull in the pay rates based on what the guys are doing during the week. Then ultimately also handle the tax filings and payments for the weekly, the monthly, the quarterlies, and the annuals. But very high level overview of Payroll for Construction. What I'll do here next is I'll go ahead and open it up for questions and invite Brian May to jump back on the line with me here as well. If anyone is interested in receiving a demonstration or has any additional questions, feel free to reach out at any time. We hold demonstrations over the Zoom platform, would be able to give you a more detailed dive and also answer any questions that you may have when it comes to our system and what's going on with your payroll needs at your company.
Hey, well done, Alex. Thank you very much for the great presentation. So everyone, remember, please go ahead and enter your questions into the question section of the webinar. We've got a couple more minutes left in our session today, and we'd be happy to address those for you. Alex, first question that's come up, this organization's had trouble filing state taxes. How can Payroll for Construction help there?
Thank you, Brian. And Payroll for Construction can help because we will take over the state tax filings. Those that are working again in one state, multiple states, our team will take care of the rest. We'll be able to do it on that weekly, the monthly, the quarterly basis. As your payroll provider, our team would be able to step in and handle ultimately the state tax filings.
Thanks, Alex. So another question that came in, we're used to doing our payroll in-house. How much will that change? Will we still need to process our own payroll, or is the Payroll for Construction team processing payroll for the clients?
Yep, so we will be the ones that are processing the payroll. Those that are on our service, your responsibility for payroll is going to be simply getting the hours into the database, pulling them over from that exact time product, or also manually entering them into the system. Then have a number of reports available for you to review the time before you ever send it off to us for processing. So you'll go through the review process, click submit, then our team is actually processing the payroll, then also making those tax filings and payments.
Fantastic. Next question is, we work in some very remote areas. We don't always have all of our people getting direct deposit. How can we arrange to get them their checks delivered on time?
Yep. So with those clients that do have employees that need live checks, our team would ultimately be the ones that is mailing those checks off. We would have a set date and time that we would need you submitted the payroll by. Then we'll make sure those checks are overnighted, showing up at time. But those clients that are also have a quick turnaround that these guys need to receive their checks, they do have the ability to print checks in-house if we do need to go that route. So those, when we're signing clients on for the service, we'd be able to have that conversation to make sure that we're getting those employees that need the live checks on time so that they're paid each week on time.
Oh, really great. Yeah, great questions. Keep them coming, folks. So here's another one, Alex. On the time card import, is there a way to import descriptions too?
Yep, we would be able to do so. So during that import sequence set up with the trainer, they would be able to define on the report that we're pulling out from exact time, and also then pull in that description into the enter time card in Payroll for Construction. Then when we're running reports, we would be able to review those descriptions that were entered.
Oh, fantastic. So as a reminder, folks, if you're looking for a demonstration of the Payroll for Construction system, or if you're considering to change over your ERP and want to take a look at foundation software, please reach out to Alex. You can see his phone number below, along with his email address. For those current customers of Exact Time, of Arcoro, if you are interested in any of the integrations that we talked about today, just reach out to your account manager. And if you're not quite sure who that is, just let me know. I'm happy to help you. You can see my email address and phone number listed below. Alex, I think that's all the questions that we have for today. Again, job well done. We really appreciate our partnership with Foundation Software and Payroll for Construction. Look forward to doing this again soon. Will you come back and join us again?
Oh, of course. Whenever you're willing to have us. Again, I can speak for all of us here. We love the partnership that we have with Arcoro and Exact Time over there. Always enjoy hopping on for these partner webinars. And again, also, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out, hold any demonstration over the Zoom platform, or if it's something that we need to pass over to Brian and his team as well, we'll make sure that everyone's questions are handled accordingly.
Again, well done, Alex. Thank you very much. And thank you all for joining us. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, everyone. You too, Brian. Have a great rest of your week.